Alexander the Great.
I am indebted to my father for living, but to my teacher for living well. A tomb now suffices him for whom the world was not enough. There is nothing impossible to him who will try. I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep, I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion. When we give someone our time, we actually give a portion of our life that we will never take back. But truly, if I were not Alexander, I would be Diogenes. Sex and sleep alone make me conscious that I am mortal. When you bury my body, don't build any momentum and keep my hands outside so that the world knows that the person who won the whole world had nothing in his hand while dying. For my part, I think that to a man of spirit there is no other aim and end of his labors except the labors themselves. There is nothing impossible to him who will try. There are no more worlds to conquer. My treasure lies in my friends. Remember, upon the conduct of each depends the fate of all. Each moment free from fear makes a man immortal. Glory crowns the deeds of those who expose themselves to toils and dangers.
Nicola Tesla.
If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency and vibration. I don't care that they stole my idea. I care that they don't have any of their own. The scientists of today think deeply instead of clearly. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. The present is theirs, the future, for which I really worked, is mine. The day science begins to study non-physical phenomena, it will make more progress in 1 decade than in all the previous centuries of its existence. If your hate could be turned into electricity, it would light up the whole world. Of all things, I liked books best. My brain is only a receiver. In the universe there is a core from which we obtain knowledge, strength and inspiration. I have not penetrated into the secrets of this core, but I know that it exists. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. I do not think you can name many great inventions that have been made by married men. One must be sane to think clearly, but one can think deeply and be quite insane. Our virtues and our failings are inseparable, like force and matter. When they separate, man is no more. All that was great in the past was ridiculed, condemned, combated, suppressed, only to emerge all the more powerfully, all the more triumphantly from the struggle. Let the future tell the truth, and evaluate each one according to his work and accomplishments. The present is theirs, the future, for which I have really worked, is mine. Life is and will ever remain an equation incapable of solution, but it contains certain known factor. Invention is the most important product of man's creative brain. The ultimate purpose is the complete mastery of mind over the material world, the harnessing of human nature to human needs. Today's scientists have substituted mathematics for experiments, and they wander off through equation after equation, and eventually build a structure which has no relation to reality. We crave for new sensations but soon become indifferent to them. The wonders of yesterday are today common occurrences. If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6 and 9, then you would have the key to the universe.
Johnny Depp.
If someone were to harm my family or a friend or somebody I love, I would eat them. I might end up in jail for 500 years, but I would eat them. If you love two people at the same time, choose the second. Because if you really love the first one, you wouldn't have fallen for the second. Music touches us emotionally, where words alone can't. My body is my journal, and my tattoos are my story. We're all damaged in our own way. Nobody's perfect. I think we're all somewhat screwy. Every single one of us. I think everybody's weird. We should all celebrate our individuality and not be embarrassed or ashamed of it. Just keep moving forward and don't give a shit about what anybody thinks. Do what you have to do, for you. The only creatures that are evolved enough to convey pure love are dogs and infants. There are 4 questions of value in life. What is sacred? Of what is the spirit made? What is worth living for, and what is worth dying for? The answer to each is same. Only love. I try to stay in a constant state of confusion just because of the expression it leaves on my face. When kids hit 1 year old, it's like hanging out with a miniature drunk. You have to hold on to them. They bump into things. They laugh and cry. They urinate. They vomit. She's kind of a walking poem. She's this perfect beauty, but at the same time very deep, very smart. Life's pretty good, and why wouldn't it be? I'm a pirate, after all. I don't think anybody's necessarily ready for death. You can only hope that when it approaches, you feel like you've said what you wanted to say. Nobody wants to go out in mid-sentence. You gotta be careful, don't say a word to nobody about nothing anytime ever. I always felt like I was meant to have been born in another era, another time. You can close your eyes to the things you don't want to see, but you can't close your heart to the things you don't want to feel. I am doing things that are true to me. The only thing I have a problem with is being labeled. I think the thing to do is to enjoy the ride while you're on it. They say the world used to be bigger. The world's still the same, there's just less in it. My daughter was asked by a little old lady in a London hotel restaurant what her daddy did. She answered, "He's a pirate." I was very proud of that answer. With any part you play, there is a certain amount of yourself in it. There has to be, otherwise it's just not acting. It's lying. Everything here is edible, even I'm edible. But that, dear children, is cannibalism, and is in fact frowned upon in most societies. I don't pretend to be Captain Weird. I just do what I do. They stick you with those names, those labels, rebel or whatever they like to use. Because they need a label, they need a name. They need something to put the price tag on the back of. Laugh as much as you breathe and love as long as you live. I was ecstatic when they renamed French fries as freedom fries. Grown men and women in positions of power in the US government showing themselves as idiots.
Elon Musk.
When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Over time I think we will probably see a closer merger of biological intelligence and digital intelligence. I think it would be great to be born on Earth and die on Mars. Just hopefully not at the point of impact. If you had to buy a new plane every time you flew somewhere, it would be incredibly expensive. I'm a Silicon Valley guy. I just think people from Silicon Valley can do anything. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. From an evolutionary standpoint, human consciousness has not been around very long. A little light just went on after 4.5 billion years. How often does that happen? Maybe it is quite rare. The value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated, no question. But I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad. I had so many people try to talk me out of starting a rocket company, it was crazy. I think long-term you can see Tesla establishing factories in Europe, in other parts of the US and in Asia. If you think back to the beginning of cell phones, laptops or really any new technology, it's always expensive. If we're going to have any chance of sending stuff to other star systems, we need to be laser focused on becoming a multi-planet civilization. I've actually not read any books on time management. Mars is the only place in the solar system where it's possible for life to become multiplanetarian. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Land on Mars, a round-trip ticket, $500,000. It can be done. It is theoretically possible to warp space-time itself, so you're not actually moving faster than the speed of light, but it's actually space that's moving. The factory is the machine that builds the machine. Here in the West, people often don't like listening to their leaders, even if they are right. I usually describe myself as an engineer. That's basically what I've been doing since I was a kid. Government isn't that good at rapid advancement of technology. It tends to be better at funding basic research. To have things take off, you've got to have commercial companies do it. I wouldn't say I have a lack of fear. In fact, I'd like my fear emotion to be less because it's very distracting and fries my nervous system. I've been to Disneyland, like, 10 times. I'm getting really tired of Disneyland. America is the spirit of human exploration distilled. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. You could warm Mars up, over time, with greenhouse gases. I'm personally a moderate and a registered independent, so I'm not strongly Democratic or strongly Republican. If humanity doesn't land on Mars in my lifetime, I would be very disappointed. I don't think it's a good idea to plan to sell a company. In the early days of aviation, there was a great deal of experimentation at a high death rate. I think we have a duty to maintain the light of consciousness to make sure it continues into the future. When I was in college, I wanted to be involved in things that would change the world. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. I say something, and then it usually happens. Maybe not on schedule, but it usually happens.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Happiness is when what you think, what you say, and what you do are in harmony. The weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. First they ignore you, then they ridicule you, then they fight you, and then you win. I like your Christ, I do not like your Christians. Your Christians are so unlike your Christ. Freedom is not worth having if it does not include the freedom to make mistakes. I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet. I will not let anyone walk through my mind with their dirty feet. Your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values become your destiny. You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is like an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. You must not lose faith in humanity. Humanity is like an ocean. If a few drops of the ocean are dirty, the ocean does not become dirty. A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes. To give pleasure to a single heart by a single act is better than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Each night, when I go to sleep, I die. And the next morning, when I wake up, I am reborn. Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's needs, but not every man's greed. What difference does it make to the dead, the orphans and the homeless, whether the med destruction is wrought under the name of totalitarianism or in the holy name of liberty or democracy? There are people in the world so hungry, that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. It is unwise to be too sure of one's own wisdom. It is healthy to be reminded that the strongest might weaken and the wisest might err. Strength does not come from physical capacity. It comes from an indomitable will. It is easy enough to be friendly to one's friends. But to befriend the one who regards himself as your enemy is the quintessence of true religion. The other is mere business. You don't know who is important to you until you actually lose them. I object to violence because when it appears to do good, the good is only temporary, the evil it does is permanent. You can chain me, you can torture me, you can even destroy this body, but you will never imprison my mind. You may never know what results come of your actions, but if you do nothing, there will be no results. I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. Love is the strongest force the world possesses, and yet it is the humblest imaginable. There is nothing that wastes the body like worry, and one who has any faith in God should be ashamed to worry about anything whatsoever. The simplest acts of kindness are by far more powerful than 1,000 heads bowing in prayer. They cannot take away our self-respect if we do not give it to them. A coward is incapable of exhibiting love. It is the prerogative of the brave. Remember that all through history, there have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time, they seem invincible. But in the end, they always fall. Always. To my mind, the life of a lamb is no less precious than that of a human being. I cannot conceive of a greater loss than the loss of one's self-respect. Silence becomes cowardice when occasion demands speaking out the whole truth and acting accordingly. I believe in the fundamental truth of all great religions of the world. I seek not greater wealth, but simpler pleasure, not higher fortune, but deeper felicity. Always aim at complete harmony of thought and word and deed. Always aim at purifying your thoughts and everything will be well. My imperfections and failures are as much a blessing from God as my successes and my talents, and I lay them both at His feet. Power is of two kinds. One is obtained by the fear of punishment and the other by acts of love. Power based on love is 1,000 times more effective and permanent than the one derived from fear of punishment. A no uttered from the deepest conviction is better than a yes merely uttered to please, or worse, to avoid trouble. Each one has to find his peace from within. And peace to be real must be unaffected by outside circumstances. There are many causes I would die for. There is not a single cause I would kill for. I want freedom for the full expression of my personality.
Muhammad Ali Klay.
You don't have to be in a boxing ring to be a great fighter. As long as you are true to yourself, you will succeed in your fight for that in which you believe. There are no pleasures in a fight, but some of my fights have been a pleasure to win. I wish people would love everybody else the way they love me. It would be a better world. Impossible is not a fact. It's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration. It's a dare. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing. I don't count my sit-ups, I only start counting when it starts hurting because they're the only ones that count. It's lack of faith that makes people afraid of meeting challenges, and I believed in myself. Put yourself out on a limb, like me. You lose nothing when fighting for a cause. If you even dream of beating me, you'd better wake up and apologize. To be a great champion you must believe you are the best. If not, pretend you are. I don't trust anyone who's nice to me, but rude to a waiter because they would treat me the same if I were in that position. I calculate that I took 20,000 punches, but I earned millions and kept a lot of it. I may talk slow, but my mind is okay. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. The greatest victory in life is to rise above the material things that we once valued most. I am the astronaut of boxing. Joe Louis and Dempsey were just jet pilots. I'm in a world of my own. A rooster crows only when it sees the light. Put him in the dark and he'll never crow. I have seen the light and I'm crowing. I am America. I am the part you won't recognize. But get used to me. Black, confident, cocky, my name, not yours, my religion, not yours, my goals, my own, get used to me. My principles are more important than the money or my title. When I won the Golden Gloves in 1960, that made me realize I had a chance. And when I won at the Olympics, that sealed it, I was the champ. Truly great people in history never wanted to be great for themselves. All they wanted was the chance to do good for others and be close to God. Too many easy victories can ruin a fighter just as much as a long line of defeats. People don't realize what they had till it's gone. Like President Kennedy, there was no one like him, the Beatles, and my man Elvis Presley. I was the Elvis of boxing. Only a man who knows what it is like to be defeated can reach down to the bottom of his soul and come up with the extra ounce of power it takes to win when the match is even. I have never heard anything that affected me like those words, heavyweight champion of the world. The man who views the world at 50 the same as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of his life. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. They have to have the skill, and the will. But the will must be stronger than the skill. I've made my share of mistakes along the way, but if I have changed even one life for the better, I haven't lived in vain. Hating people because of their color is wrong. And it doesn't matter which color does the hating. It's just plain wrong. I've wrestled with alligators. I've tussled with a whale. I've done handcuffed lightning. And throw thunder in jail. I'm so fast that last night I turned off the light switch in my hotel room and was in bed before the room was dark. The fight is won or lost far away from the witnesses, behind the lines, in the gym, and out there on the road, long before I dance under those lights. When you want to talk about who made me, you talk to me. Who made me, is me. I may have been the best fighter, but I was also the poorest. I had never been able to afford a first-class mouthpiece to protect my teeth. I had to wait until other fighters finished so I could borrow their headgear, or their trunk or bandages. I am an ordinary man who worked hard to develop the talent I was given. I believed in myself, and I believe in the goodness of others. Friendship is a priceless gift that cannot be bought nor sold, but its value is far greater than a mountain made of gold. If my mind can conceive it, and my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it. Friendship is the hardest thing in the world to explain. It's not something you learn in school. But if you haven't learned the meaning of friendship, you really haven't learned anything. If you lose a big fight, it will worry you all of your life. It will plague you, until you get your revenge. To be able to give away riches is mandatory if you wish to possess them. This is the only way that you will be truly rich. I know no fighter can survive the loss if he feels sorry for himself when he's defeated. I know where I'm going and I know the truth, and I don't have to be what you want me to be. I'm free to be what I want. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. I figure I'll be champ for about 10 years and then I'll let my brother take over, like the Kennedys down in Washington.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
A revolution can be neither made nor stopped. The only thing that can be done is for one of several of its children to give it a direction by dint of victories. The best cure for the body is a quiet mind. The people to fear are not those who disagree with you, but those who disagree with you and are too cowardly to let you know. If I had not been born Napoleon, I would have liked to have been born Alexander. There is one kind of robber whom the law does not strike at, and who steals what is most precious to men, time. Valor is a gift. Those having it never know for sure whether they have it till the test comes. And those having it in one test never know for sure if they will have it when the next test comes. Take time to deliberate, but when the time for action has arrived, stop thinking and go. Nothing is more difficult, and therefore more precious, than to be able to decide. The world is not ruined by the wickedness of the wicked, but by the weakness of the good. I am surrounded by priests who repeat incessantly that their kingdom is not of this world, and yet they lay their hands on everything they can get. Power is my mistress. I have worked too hard at her conquest to allow anyone to take her away from me. Impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools. Napoleon Bonaparte. Great ambition is the passion of a great character. Those endowed with it may perform very good or very bad acts. All depends on the principles which direct them. If the art of war were nothing but the art of avoiding risks, glory would become the prey of mediocre minds. There are only two forces in the world, the sword and the spirit. In the long run the sword will always be conquered by the spirit. The fool has one great advantage over a man of sense: he is always satisfied with himself. Riches do not consist in the possession of treasures, but in the use made of them. There is only one thing in this world, and that is to keep acquiring money and more money, power and more power. All the rest is meaningless. Once you have made up your mind, stick to it. There are no longer any if or but. The greater the man, the less is he opinionative. He depends upon events and circumstances. One must change one's tactics every 10 years if one wishes to maintain one's superiority. Doctors will have more lives to answer for in the next world than even we generals. The only conquests which are permanent and leave no regrets are our conquests over ourselves. The great proof of madness is the disproportion of one's designs to one's means. The stupid speak of the past, the wise of the present, and fools of the future. "6 hours sleep for a man, 7 for a woman and 8 for a fool." In our time none has the conception of what is great. It is up to me to show them. If you wish to be success in the world, promise everything, deliver nothing. If you build an army of 100 lions and their leader is a dog, in any fight, the lions will die like a dog. But if you build an army of 100 dogs and their leader is a lion, all dogs will fight as a lion. The reason most people fail instead of succeed is they trade what they want most for what they want at the moment. The only way to lead people is to show them a future. A leader is a dealer in hope. It is not necessary to bury the truth. It is sufficient merely to delay it until nobody cares. Courage isn't having the strength to go on, it is going on when you don't have strength. To make yourself understood to people, one must first speak to their eyes. The amateurs discuss tactics, the professionals discuss logistics. To have a right estimate of a man's character, we must see him in misfortune. Soldiers generally win battles, generals get credit for them. The battlefield is a scene of constant chaos. The winner will be the one who controls that chaos, both his own and the enemy's. I am sometimes a fox and sometimes a lion. The whole secret of government lies in knowing when to be the one or the other. If I had to choose a religion, the sun as the universal giver of life would be my God. Religious wars are basically people killing each other over who has the better imaginary friend. The Bible is no mere book, but a living creature, with a power that conquers all that oppose it. I must see her and press her to my heart. I love her to the point of madness, and I cannot continue to be separated from her. If she no longer loved me, I would have nothing left to do on earth. I hope before long to press you in my arms and shall shower on you a million burning kisses as under the equator. Love is the occupation of the idle, the distraction of the soldier, the danger of the monarch. No one knows how it is that with one glance a boy can break through into a girl's heart.
Albert Einstein.
Two things are infinite, the universe and human stupidity, and I'm not sure about the universe. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. I am enough of an artist to draw freely upon my imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. If you want your children to be intelligent, read them fairy tales. If you want them to be more intelligent, read them more fairy tales. Logic will get you from A to Z, imagination will get you everywhere. Life is like riding a bicycle. To keep your balance, you must keep moving. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university. When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity.
When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red-hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity.
If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what, then, is an empty desk a sign? Once you can accept the universe as matter expanding into nothing that is something, wearing stripes with plaid comes easy. If I were not a physicist, I would probably be a musician. I often think in music. I live my daydreams in music. I see my life in terms of music. The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious. It is the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of true art and true science. The world is a dangerous place to live, not because of the people who are evil, but because of the people who don't do anything about it. If A is a success in life, then A equals X plus Y plus Z. Work is X, Y is play, and Z is keeping your mouth shut. Everything must be made as simple as possible. But not simpler. When you trip over love, it is easy to get up. But when you fall in love, it is impossible to stand again. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. The pursuit of truth and beauty is a sphere of activity in which we are permitted to remain children all our lives. Whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with important matters. Men marry women with the hope they will never change. Women marry men with the hope they will change. Invariably they are both disappointed. We dance for laughter, we dance for tears, we dance for madness, We dance for fears, we dance for hopes, we dance for screams, we are the dancers, we create the dreams. The woman who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The woman who walks alone is likely to find herself in places no one has ever been before. It would be possible to describe everything scientifically, but it would make no sense, it would be without meaning, as if you described a Beethoven symphony as a variation of wave pressure. We all know that light travels faster than sound. That's why certain people appear bright until you hear them speak. I never made one of my discoveries through the process of rational thinking. A ship is always safe at the shore, but that is not what it is built for. Few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own hearts. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Our task must be to free ourselves. By widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. Reading, after a certain age, diverts the mind too much from its creative pursuits. Any man who reads too much and uses his own brain too little falls into lazy habits of thinking. Student, Dr. Einstein, aren't these the same questions as last year's physics final exam? Dr. Einstein, yes, but this year the answers are different. Imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited to all we now know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world, and all there ever will be to know and understand. If people are good only because they fear punishment, and hope for reward, then we are a sorry lot indeed. The only thing that you absolutely have to know, is the location of the library. I believe in intuitions and inspirations. I sometimes feel that I am right. I do not know that I am. Life is a preparation for the future, and the best preparation for the future is to live as if there were none.
Jim Carrey.
Behind every great man there is a woman rolling her eyes. You can fail at what you don't want, so you might as well take a chance on doing what you love. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory. I really believe in the philosophy that you create your own universe. I'm just trying to create a good one for myself. Desperation is a necessary ingredient to learning anything, or creating anything. Period. If you ain't desperate at some point, you ain't interesting. Life opens up opportunities to you, and you either take them or you stay afraid of taking them. I wake up some mornings and sit and have my coffee and look out at my beautiful garden, and I go, remember how good this is. Because you can lose it. I'm very serious about no alcohol, no drugs. Life is too beautiful. Green eggs and ham was the story of my life. I wouldn't eat a thing when I was a kid, but Dr. Seuss inspired me to try cauliflower. People need motivation to do anything. I don't think human beings learn anything without desperation. I think everybody should get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer. You know what I do almost every day? I wash. Personal hygiene is part of the package with me. If you aren't in the moment, you are either looking forward to uncertainty, or back to pain and regret. My focus is to forget the pain of life. Forget the pain, mock the pain, reduce it, and laugh. I know this sounds strange, but as a kid, I was really shy. Painfully shy. The turning point was freshman year, when I was the biggest geek alive. No one, even talked to me. My mother was a professional sick person, she took a lot of pain pills. There are many people like that. It's just how they are used to getting attention. I always remember she's the daughter of alcoholics who'd leave her alone at Christmas time. Creative people don't behave very well generally. If you're looking for examples of good relationships in show business, you're gonna be depressed real fast. I don't have time for anything else right now but work and my daughter. She's my first priority. I'm the first to admit this whole salary thing is getting out of control. In the final analysis, it's still about the work. Maybe there is no actual place called hell. Maybe hell is just having to listen to our grandparents breathe through their noses when they're eating sandwiches. You know, I live a monastic lifestyle. No, I do. I do live in extremes, basically. I go back and forth. Once every 6 months, I'll have a day where I eat more chocolate than has ever been consumed by a human being. We had problems like all families, but we had a lot of love. I was extremely loved. We always felt we had each other. My report card always said, Jim finishes first and then disrupts the other students. It is better to risk starving to death than surrender. If you give up on your dreams, what's left? I try to do something the audience might not have seen before. Like if I'm gonna kiss a girl, I wanna kiss her like a girl has never been kissed. Like maybe I would kick her legs out from under her and catch her right before she hits the ground and then kiss her. I wake up some mornings and sit and have my coffee and look out at my garden, and I go, remember how good this is. Because you can lose it. The money can be a hindrance to someone like me because the danger is that you start thinking, is that a $20 million take? That kind of thing, and being self-critical. As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and then working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. One thing I hope I'll never be is drunk with my own power. And anybody who says I am will never work in this town again. I've arrived at the place if I'm not taking a career risk, I'm not happy. If I'm scared, then I know I'm being challenged. I got a lot of support from my parents. That's the one thing I always appreciated. They didn't tell me I was being stupid, they told me I was being funny. I don't think human beings learn anything without desperation. Desperation is a necessary ingredient to learning anything or creating anything. Period. If you ain't desperate at some point, you ain't interesting. It's better to fail at what you love than fail at what you don't. I haven't been as wild with my money as somebody like me might have been. I've been very safe, very conservative with investments. I don't blow money. I don't have a ton of houses. I know things can go away. I've already had that experience. I tend to stay up late, not because I'm partying but because it's the only time of the day when I'm alone and don't have to be performing. I refuse to feel guilty. I feel guilty about too much in my life but not about money. I went through periods when I had nothing, so somebody in my family has to get stinkin' wealthy. My upbringing in Canada made me the person I am. I will always be proud to be a Canadian. My dad was like a stage mother, he always pushed me to do what I wanted. I'm a hard guy to live with. I'm like a caged animal. I'm up all night walking around the living room. It's hard for me to come down from what I do. I want to be the greatest actor that ever lived, frankly. I'd love that. But I don't need to be. I just want to be here. That's it. I feel like I want to take care of everyone and I also feel this terrible guilt if I am unable to. And I have felt this way ever since all this success started. It was such a leap in my career when Truman Show came along. It's always been a long process for me and so far as recognition goes, but that's okay because you appreciate it when it comes. I need privacy. I would think that because what I do makes a lot of people happy that I might deserve a little bit of respect in return. Instead, the papers try to drag me off my pedestal. I don't care if people think I am an overactor, as long as they enjoy what I do. People who think that would call Van Gogh an overpainter. I've tried everything. I've done therapy, I've done colonics. I went to a psychic who had me running around town buying pieces of ribbon to fill the colors in my aura. Did the Prozac thing. What I have in common with the character in Truman is this incredible need to please people. I feel like I want to take care of everyone and I also feel this terrible guilt if I am unable to. And I have felt this way ever since all this success started. If I had never ventured beyond being a stand-up comic, then I would be sitting in my house today working on my Leonardo DiCaprio impression. I practiced making faces in the mirror and it would drive my mother crazy. She used to scare me by saying that I was going to see the devil if I kept looking in the mirror. That fascinated me even more, of course.
Steve Jobs.
Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. You are already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Being the richest man in the cemetery doesn't matter to me. Going to bed at night saying we've done something wonderful. That's what matters to me. You have to be burning with an idea, or a problem, or a wrong that you want to right. If you're not passionate enough from the start, you'll never stick it out. Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And, like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on. Simple can be harder than complex. You have to work hard to get your thinking clean to make it simple. But it's worth it in the end because once you get there, you can move mountains. You can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. This approach has never let me down, and it has made all the difference in my life. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Death is the destination we all share, no one has ever escaped it. And that is as it should be because death is very likely the single best invention of life. We don't get a chance to do that many things, and everyone should be really excellent. Because this is our life. Be a yardstick of quality. Some people aren't used to an environment where excellence is expected. My job is not to be easy on people. My job is to take these great people we have and to push them and make them even better. Sometimes when you innovate, you make mistakes. It is best to admit them quickly, and get on with improving your other innovations. What a computer is to me is the most remarkable tool that we have ever come up with. It's the equivalent of a bicycle for our minds. For most of my life, I've felt that there must be more to our existence than meets the eye. This is who I am, and you can't expect me to be someone I'm not. Pixar is seen by a lot of folks as an overnight success, but if you really look closely, most overnight successes took a long time. If you keep your eye on the profit, you're going to skimp on the product. But if you focus on making really great products, then the profits will follow. Follow your heart and your intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. Less sure about everything. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. If you want to live your life in a creative way, as an artist, you have to not look back too much. You have to be willing to take whatever you've done and whoever you were and throw them away. Do you want to spend the rest of your life selling sugared water, or do you want a chance to change the world? Innovation is not about saying yes to everything. It's about saying no to all but the most crucial features. If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll be right. Every morning I looked in the mirror and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I do today? If you live each day as if it were your last, someday you'll be right. Every morning I looked in the mirror and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I do today? I'm an optimist in the sense that I believe humans are noble and honorable, and some of them are really smart. I have a very optimistic view of individuals. We at Apple had forgotten who we were. One way to remember who you are is to remember who your heroes are. If I were running Apple, I would milk the Macintosh for all it's worth, and get busy on the next great thing. The PC wars are over. Done. Microsoft won a long time ago. It doesn't make sense to hire good people and tell them what to do. We hire good people so they can tell us what to do. Stay hungry. Stay foolish. Never let go of your appetite to go after new ideas, new experiences, and new adventures. You can't look at the competition and say you're going to do it better. You have to look at the competition and say you're going to do it differently. I think great artists and great engineers are similar, in that they both have a desire to express themselves. In fact, some of the best people working on the original Mac were poets and musicians on the side. It is in Apple's DNA that technology alone is not enough. It's technology married with liberal arts, married with the humanities, that yields us the results that make our hearts sing. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know it when you find it. The thing that bound us together at Apple was the ability to make things that were going to change the world. That was very important. I think the design sucks. Its shape is not innovative, it's not elegant, and it doesn't feel anthropomorphic.
Aristotle.
Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. What is a friend? A single soul dwelling in two bodies. Educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. Wishing to be friends is quick work. But friendship is a slow ripening fruit. Happiness is the meaning and the purpose of life, the whole aim and end of human existence. Those who educate children well are more to be honored than they who produce them, for these only gave them life, those the art of living well. The educated differ from the uneducated as much as the living differ from the dead. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who conquers his enemies, for the hardest victory is over self. The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. It is not enough to win a war, it is more important to organize the peace. The high-minded man must care more for the truth than for what people think. I have gained this by philosophy, I do without being ordered what some are constrained to do by their fear of the law. One swallow does not make a summer, neither does one fine day. Similarly, one day or brief time of happiness does not make a person entirely happy. To write well, express yourself like the common people, but think like a wise man. All human actions have one or more of these 7 causes: chance, nature, compulsion, habit, reason, passion, and desire. For the things we have to learn before we can do them, we learn by doing them. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. It is not always the same thing to be a good man and a good citizen. Without friends, no one would want to live, even if he had all other goods. I count him braver who overcomes his desires than him who overcomes his enemies. Dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in the consciousness that we deserve them. The more you know you don't know. Wise men speak when they have something to say, fools speak because they have to say something. Learning is an ornament in prosperity, a refuge in adversity, and a provision in old age. If you would understand anything, observe its beginning and its development. Nature does nothing uselessly. A friend is a second self. We make war that we may live in peace. character may almost be called the most effective means of persuasion. All who have meditated on the art of governing mankind have been convinced that the fate of empires depends on the education of youth. Great men are always of a nature originally melancholy. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Moral excellence comes about as a result of habit. We become just by doing just acts, temperate by doing temperate acts, brave by doing brave acts. Where your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation. Mothers are fonder than fathers of their children because they are more certain they are through your own. Comedy aims at representing men as worse, tragedy as better than in actual life. The only stable state is the one in which all men are equal before the law. He is his own best friend and takes delight in privacy, whereas the man of no virtue or ability is his own worst enemy and is afraid of solitude. Courage is the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees the others. Time crumbles things, everything grows old under the power of time and is forgotten through the lapse of time. All earthquakes and disasters are warnings, there's too much corruption in the world. Poetry is finer and more philosophical than history, for poetry expresses the universal, and history only the particular. Men create gods after their own image, not only with regard to their form, but with regard to their mode of life. Men acquire a particular quality by constantly acting a particular way. You become just by performing just actions, temperate by performing temperate actions, brave by performing brave actions. It is of the nature of desire not to be satisfied, and most men live only for the gratification of it. Democracy arose from men's thinking that if they are equal in any respect, they are equal absolutely.
Michael Jordan.
Talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. I can accept failure, everyone fails at something. But I can't accept not trying. Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, and others make it happen. You must expect great things of yourself before you can do them. My attitude is that if you push me towards something that you think is a weakness, then I will turn that perceived weakness into a strength. To be successful you have to be selfish, or else you never achieve. And once you get to your highest level, then you have to be unselfish. Stay reachable. Stay in touch. Don't isolate. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. Never say never, because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion. Everybody has talent, but ability takes hard work. Always turn a negative situation into a positive situation. Never say never, because limits, like fear, are often just an illusion. I can accept failure, but I cannot accept not trying. Don't let them drag you down by rumors, just go with what you believe in. If it turns out that my best wasn't good enough, at least I won't look back and say I was afraid to try. I've failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Once I made a decision, I never thought about it again. What is love? Love is playing every game as if it's your last. The basketball court for me, during a game, is the most peaceful place I can imagine. On the basketball court, I worry about nothing. When I'm out there, no one can bother me. My mother is my root, my foundation. She planted the seed that I base my life on, and that is the belief that the ability to achieve starts in your mind. Some people want it to happen, some wish it would happen, others make it happen. I realize I'm black, but I'd like to be viewed as a person, and that is everybody's wish. Failure is acceptable. But not trying is a whole different ballpark. If nobody will help you, do it alone. There is no I in team, but there is one in win. As athletes, we're used to reacting quickly. Here, it's come, stop, come, stop. There's a lot of downtime. That's the toughest part of the day. You have to expect things of yourself before you can do them. I play to win, whether during practice or a real game. Every time I feel tired while I am exercising and training, I close my eyes to see that picture, to see that list with my name. This usually motivates me to work again. I have failed many times, and that's why I am a success. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. I can accept failure, but I can't accept not trying. Obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it, go through it, or work around it. If you accept the expectations of others, especially negative ones, then you never will change the outcome. Some people wish it would happen, some people want it to happen, others make it happen. I never looked at the consequences of missing a big shot. When you think about the consequences, you will always think of the negative result. If I had been playing for money, I would have complained a long time ago that I was underpaid. The best come from the worst. Enter your text here. There is no I in team, but there is in win. I own the guy guarding me. I've never lost a game, I just ran out of time. There is no I in team. Make it happen. I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times, I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. The minute you get away from fundamentals, whether it's proper technique, work ethic or mental preparation, the bottom can fall out of your game, your schoolwork, your job, whatever you're doing. You have competition every day because you set such high standards for yourself that you have to go out every day and live up to that.
George Washington.
If freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent we may be led, like sheep to the slaughter. My mother was the most beautiful woman I ever saw. All I am I owe to my mother. I attribute my success in life to the moral, intellectual and physical education I received from her. A primary object should be the education of our youth in the science of government. In a republic, what species of knowledge can be equally important? And what duty more pressing than communicating it to those who are to be the future guardians of the liberties of the country? Be courteous to all, but intimate with few, and let those few be well tried before you give them your confidence. True friendship is a plant of slow growth, and must undergo and withstand the shocks of adversity before it is entitled to appellation. A free people ought not only to be armed, but disciplined, to which end a uniform and well-digested plan is requisite, and their safety and interest require that they should promote such manufactories as tend to render them independent of others for essential, particularly military, supplies. "99% of failures come from people who make excuses. I hope I shall possess firmness and virtue enough to maintain what I consider the most enviable of all titles, the character of an honest man. There is nothing which can better deserve our patronage than the promotion of science and literature. Knowledge is in every country the surest basis of public happiness. Labor to keep alive in your breast that little spark of celestial fire called conscience. Associate yourself with men of good quality, if you esteem your own reputation, for 'tis better to be alone than in bad company. Let us therefore animate and encourage each other, and show the whole world that a freeman, contending for liberty on his own ground, is superior to any slavish mercenary on earth. Experience teaches us that it is much easier to prevent an enemy from posting themselves than it is to dislodge them after they have got possession. Happiness depends more upon the internal frame of a person's own mind, than on the externals in the world. The turning points of lives are not the great moments. The real crises are often concealed in occurrences so trivial in appearance that they pass unobserved. As mankind becomes more liberal, they will be more apt to allow that all those who conduct themselves as worthy members of the community are equally entitled to the protections of civil government. I hope ever to see America among the foremost nations of justice and liberality. If we desire to avoid insult, we must be able to repel it. If we desire to secure peace, one of the most powerful instruments of our rising prosperity, it must be known that we are at all times ready for war. Paper money has had the effect in your state that it will ever have, to ruin commerce, oppress the honest, and open the door to every species of fraud and injustice. To encourage literature and the arts is a duty which every good citizen owes to his country. Where are our men of abilities? Why do they not come forth to save their country? Be courteous to all, but intimate with few, and let those be well tried before you give them your confidence. Discipline is the soul of an army. It makes small numbers formidable, procures success to the weak, and esteem to all. Citizens by birth or choice of a common country, that country has a right to concentrate your affections. The name of American, which belongs to you, in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism, more than any appellation derived from local discriminations. We should not look back unless it is to derive useful lessons from past errors, and for the purpose of profiting by dearly bought experience. overgrown military establishments, which, under any form of government, are inauspicious to liberty, and which are to be regarded as particularly hostile to republican liberty. If to please the people, we offer what we ourselves disapprove, how can we afterwards defend our work? Let us raise a standard to which the wise and honest can repair. The rest is in the hands of God. The great rule of conduct for us, in regard to foreign nations, is, in extending our commercial relations, to have with them as little political connection as possible. It is substantially true, that virtue or morality is a necessary spring of popular government. The rule, indeed, extends with more or less force to every species of free government. Nothing is more essential, than that permanent, inveterate antipathies against particular nations, and passionate attachments for others, should be excluded, and that, in place of them, just and amicable feelings towards all should be cultivated. Gentlemen, you will permit me to put on my spectacles, for I have grown not only gray, but almost blind in the service of my country. Promote, then, as an object of primary importance, institutions for the general diffusion of knowledge. In proportion as the structure of a government gives force to public opinion, it is essential that public opinion should be enlightened. Anything will give up its secrets if you love it enough. Not only have I found that when I talk to the little flower or to the little peanut they will give up their secrets, but I have found that when I silently commune with people they give up their secrets also, if you love them enough. The bosom of America is open to receive not only the opulent and respectable stranger, but the oppressed and persecuted of all nations and religions, whom we shall welcome to a participation of all our rights and privileges, if by decency and propriety of conduct they appear to merit the enjoyment. Strive not with your superiors in argument, but always submit your judgment to others with modesty. It is absolutely necessary for me to have persons that can think for me, as well as execute orders. No people can be bound to acknowledge the invisible hand which conducts the affairs of men more than the people of the United States. Every step by which they have advanced to the character of an independent nation seems to have been distinguished by some token of providential agency. We began a contest for liberty ill-provided with the means for the war, relying on our patriotism to supply the deficiency. We expected to encounter many wants and distrust. We must bear the present evils in fortitude. The hour is fast approaching, on which the honor and success of this army, and the safety of our bleeding country depend. Remember, officers and soldiers, that you are free men, fighting for the blessings of liberty, that slavery will be your portion, and that of your posterity, if you do not acquit yourselves like men. Unhappy it is, though, to reflect that a brother's sword has been sheathed in a brother's breast and that the once happy plains of America are either to be drenched with blood or inhabited by slaves. Sad alternative. But can a virtuous man hesitate in his choice? The alternate domination of one faction over another, sharpened by the spirit of revenge, natural to party dissension, which in different ages and countries has perpetrated the most horrid enormities, is itself a frightful despotism. But this leads at length to a more formal and permanent despotism. I'll die on my feet before I'll live on my knees.
Isaac Newton.
What we know is a drop, what we don't know is an ocean. Live your life as an exclamation rather than an explanation. If I have seen further than others, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants. Atheism is so senseless. When I look at the solar system, I see the Earth at the right distance from the Sun to receive the proper amounts of heat and light. This did not happen by chance. Truth is ever to be found in the simplicity, and not in the multiplicity and confusion of things. I know not how I seem to others, but to myself I am but a small child wandering upon the vast shores of knowledge, every now and then finding a small bright pebble to content myself with while the vast ocean of undiscovered truth lay before me. In the absence of any other proof, the thumb alone would convince me of God's existence. I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people. No great discovery was ever made without a bold guess. Gravity explains the motions of the planets, but it cannot explain who sets the planets in motion. A heavenly master governs all the world as sovereign of the universe. We are astonished at him by reason of his perfection, we honor him and fall down before him because of his unlimited power. From blind physical necessity, which is always and everywhere the same, no variety adhering to time and place could evolve, and all variety of created objects which represent order and life in the universe could happen only by the willful reasoning of its original creator, whom I call the Lord God. He who thinks half-heartedly will not believe in God, but he who really thinks has to believe in God. As a blind man has no idea of colors, so we have no idea of the manner by which the all-wise God perceives and understands all things. If I am anything, which I highly doubt, I have made myself so by hard work. A man may imagine things that are false, but he can only understand things that are true, for if the things be false, the apprehension of them is not understanding. If I have ever made any valuable discoveries, it has been due more to patient attention, than to any other talent. If others would think as hard as I did, then they would get similar results. Plato is my friend, Aristotle is my friend, but my greatest friend is the truth. God created everything by number, weight, and measure. I consider my greatest accomplishment to be lifelong celibacy. This most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets, could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent and powerful being. I have a fundamental belief in the Bible as the Word of God, written by those who were inspired. I studied the Bible daily. Sir Isaac Newton was asked how he discovered the law of gravity. He replied, "By thinking about it all the time." It is the perfection of God's works that they are all done with the greatest simplicity. He is the God of order and not of confusion. And therefore, as they would understand the frame of the world must endeavor to reduce their knowledge to all possible simplicity, so must it be in seeking to understand these visions. Trials are medicines which our gracious and wise physician prescribes because we need them, and he proportions the frequency and weight of them to what the case requires. Let us trust his skill and thank him for his prescription. No being exists or can exist which is not related to space in some way. God is everywhere, created minds are somewhere, and the body is in the space that it occupies, and whatever is neither everywhere nor anywhere does not exist. And hence it follows that space is in effect arising from the first existence of being, because when any being is postulated, space is postulated. The folly of interpreters has been to foretell times and things by this prophecy, as if God designed to make them prophets. By this rashness, they have not only exposed themselves but brought the prophecy also into contempt. The design of God was much otherwise. He gave this and the prophecies of the Old Testament, not to gratify men's curiosities by enabling them to foreknow things, but that after they were fulfilled they might be interpreted by the event, and his own providence, not the interpreters, be then manifested thereby to the world. I have a fundamental belief in the Bible as the Word of God, written by men who were inspired. I studied the Bible daily. Opposition to godliness is atheism in profession and idolatry in practice. Atheism is so senseless and odious to mankind that it never had many professors. I can measure the motion of bodies, but I cannot measure human folly. To myself, I am only a child playing on the beach, while vast oceans of truth lie undiscovered before me. It is the weight, not numbers of experiments that is to be regarded. Religion and philosophy are to be preserved distinct. We are not to introduce divine revelations into philosophy, nor philosophical opinions into religion. I do not love to be printed on every occasion, much less to be dunned and teased by foreigners about mathematical things, or to be thought by our own people to be trifling away my time about them when I should be about the King's business. The moon gravitates towards the Earth and by the force of gravity is continually drawn off from a rectilinear motion and retained in its orbit. Resistance is usually ascribed to bodies at rest, and impulse to those in motion, but motion and rest, as commonly conceived, are only relatively distinguished, nor are those bodies always truly at rest, which commonly are taken to be so. In experimental philosophy, we are to look upon propositions inferred by general induction from phenomena as accurately or very nearly true, notwithstanding any contrary hypotheses that may be imagined, till such time as other phenomena occur by which they may either be made more accurate or liable to exceptions. The smaller the planets are, they are, other things being equal, of so much the greater density, for so the powers of gravity on their several surfaces come nearer to equality. They are likewise, other things being equal, of the greater density, as they are nearer to the Sun. The smaller the planets are, they are, other things being equal, of so much the greater density, for so the powers of gravity on their several surfaces come nearer to equality. They are likewise, other things being equal, of the greater density, as they are nearer to the Sun.
Marilyn Monroe.
I'm very definitely a woman and I enjoy it. In Hollywood, a girl's virtue is much less important than her hairdo. You're judged by how you look, not by what you are. Hollywood's a place where they'll pay you $1,000 for a kiss, and 50 cents for your soul. I know, because I turned down the first offer often enough and held out for the 50. Everybody is always tugging at you. They'd all like a sort of chunk out of you. I don't think they realize it, but it's like grrr do this, grrr do that. But you do want to stay intact and on 2 feet. A woman can't be alone. She needs a man. A man and a woman support and strengthen each other. She just can't do it by herself. I always felt insecure and in the way, but most of all I felt scared. I guess I wanted love more than anything else in the world. Creativity has got to start with humanity, and when you're a human being, you feel, you suffer. Success makes so many people hate you. I wish it wasn't that way. It would be wonderful to enjoy success without seeing envy in the eyes of those around you. Fame will go by and, so long, I've had you, fame. If it goes by, I've always known it was fickle. First, I'm trying to prove to myself that I'm a person. Then maybe I'll convince myself that I'm an actress. This life is what you make it. No matter what, you're going to mess up sometimes, it's a universal truth. But the good part is you get to decide how you're going to mess it up. With fame, you know, you can read about yourself, somebody else's ideas about you, but what's important is how you feel about yourself, for survival and living day to day with what comes up. I want to grow old without facelifts. I want to have the courage to be loyal to the face I've made. Sometimes I think it would be easier to avoid old age, to die young, but then you'd never complete your life, would you? You'd never wholly know you. Arthur Miller wouldn't have married me if I had been nothing but a dumb blonde. No one ever told me I was pretty when I was a little girl. All little girls should be told they're pretty, even if they aren't. I think that when you are famous, every weakness is exaggerated. Respect is one of life's greatest treasures. I mean, what does it all add up to if you don't have that? I won't be satisfied until people want to hear me sing without looking at me. Of course, that doesn't mean I want them to stop looking. I'm one of the world's most self-conscious people. I really have to struggle. Fame is fickle, and I know it. It has its compensations, but it also has its drawbacks, and I've experienced them both. Sometimes I feel my whole life has been one big rejection. I think that sexuality is only attractive when it's natural and spontaneous. A man is more frank and sincere with his emotions than a woman. We girls, I'm afraid, have a tendency to hide our feelings. My work is the only ground I've ever had to stand on. I seem to have a whole superstructure with no foundation, but I'm working on the foundation. I'm one of the world's most self-conscious people. I really have to struggle. I don't consider myself an intellectual. And this is not one of my aims. But I admire intellectual people. I'm a failure as a woman. My men expect so much of me, because of the image they've made of me and that I've made of myself as a sex symbol. They expect bells to ring and whistles to whistle, but my anatomy is the same as any other woman's and I can't live up to it. A wise girl kisses but doesn't love, listens but doesn't believe, and leads before she is left. I don't mind living in a man's world, as long as I can be a woman in it. If I play a stupid girl and ask a stupid question, I've got to follow it through. What am I supposed to do? Look intelligent. It's far better to be unhappy alone than unhappy with someone, so far. Before marriage, a girl has to make love to a man to hold him. After marriage, she has to hold him to make love to him. I've never fooled anyone. I've let people fool themselves. They didn't bother to find out who and what I was. Instead, they would invent a character for me. I wouldn't argue with them. They were obviously loving somebody I wasn't. When it comes down to it, I let them think what they want. If they care enough to bother with what I do, then I'm already better than them. I knew I belonged to the public and to the world, Not because I was talented or even beautiful, but because I had never belonged to anything or anyone else. It's often just enough to be with someone. I don't need to touch them. Not even talk. A feeling passes between you both. You're not alone. I don't mind being burdened with being glamorous and sexual. Beauty and femininity are ageless and can't be contrived, and glamour, although the manufacturers won't like this, cannot be manufactured. Not real glamour, it's based on femininity. All a girl really wants is for one guy to prove to her that they are not all the same. Ever notice how what the hell is always the right answer? I don't stop when I'm tired. I only stop when I'm done. Sex is part of nature. I go along with nature. How wrong it is for a woman to expect the man to build the world she wants, rather than to create it herself. Keep smiling, because life is a beautiful thing and there's so much to smile about. Boys think girls are like books. If the cover doesn't catch their eye, they won't bother to read what's inside. That's the way you feel when you're beaten inside. You don't feel angry at those who've beaten you. You just feel ashamed. Looking back, I guess I used to play act all the time. For one thing, it meant I could live in a more interesting world than the one around me. This is supposed to be an art form, not just a manufacturing establishment. The sensitivity that helps me to act, you see, also makes me react. An actor is supposed to be a sensitive instrument. People had a habit of looking at me as if I were some kind of mirror instead of a person. They didn't see me, they saw their own lewd thoughts, then they white masked themselves by calling me the lewd one.
Bill Gates.
Don't compare yourself with anyone in this world. If you do so, you are insulting yourself. If you are born poor, it's not your mistake, but if you die poor, it's your mistake. Measuring programming progress by lines of code is like measuring aircraft building progress by weight. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failure. Success today requires the agility and drive to constantly rethink, reinvigorate, react, and reinvent. To be a good professional engineer, always start to study late for exams because it teaches you how to manage time and tackle emergencies. I was lucky to be in the right place at the right time. But many others were also in the same place. The difference was that I took action. We always overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. Don't let yourself be lulled into inaction. The most meaningful way to differentiate your company from your competition is to do an outstanding job with information. Bringing together the right information with the right people will dramatically improve a company's ability to develop and act on strategic business opportunities. My grade point average went from a 2.2 to a 4.0 over the summer. I wanted to get straight A's. I decided to get straight A's. I didn't want people to think I was dumb. And when you get straight A's once, it's easier. I hope someday what people can do with their lives depends on their talents and how hard they are willing to work, rather than on where they happen to be born. There is a difference between what technology enables and what historical business practices enable. If you believe that every life has equal value, it's revolting to learn that some lives are seen as worth saving and others are not. We said to ourselves, this can't be true. But if it is true, it deserves to be the priority of our giving. If you're using first-class land for biofuels, then you're competing with the growing of food. And so you're actually spiking food prices by moving energy production into agriculture. I have seen firsthand that agricultural science has enormous potential to increase the yields of small farmers and lift them out of hunger and poverty. The pace of progress in biology creates a foundation that naturally gets picked up by the biotech and pharmaceutical industry to solve rich world diseases. This is attractive science. It's science that people want to work on. Innovation is a good thing. The human condition, put aside bioterrorism and a few footnotes, is improving because of innovation. We're at the point now where the challenge isn't how to communicate effectively with email, it's ensuring that you spend your time on the email that matters most. The competition to hire the best will increase in the years ahead. Companies that give extra flexibility to their employees will have the edge in this area. When I was in college, for the games of that era, I was as hardcore as anyone was. I wouldn't say I outgrew it, but you always have to have a finite number of addictions. "3D is a way of organizing things, particularly as we're getting much more media information on the computer, a lot more choices, a lot more navigation than we've ever had before. Vaccination is one of the easiest things on the way to development. It's much easier than roads and a great education system. It's very basic. It's one of the first things you want to get right. The first rule of any technology used in a business is that automation applied to an efficient operation will magnify the efficiency. The second is that automation applied to an inefficient operation will magnify the inefficiency. In order for the United States to do the right things for the long term, it appears to be helpful for us to have the prospect of humiliation. Sputnik helped us fund good science, really good science. The semiconductor came out of it. It is really gratifying, for example, to visit India now and see that because they've had good educational institutions, and they've had a focus on it, there are more and more people in India participating in the world economy. The fight against AIDS in China is already well underway. The Chinese government and other funders are providing major support, and they'll continue to bear primary responsibility for delivering prevention and treatment. It is my belief that industry and government around the world should work even more closely to protect the privacy and security of Internet users, and promote the exchange of ideas, while respecting legitimate government considerations. I believe that with great wealth comes great responsibility, a responsibility to give back to society and a responsibility to see that those resources are put to work in the best possible way to help those most in need. Since when has the world of computer software design been about what people want? This is a simple question of evolution. The day is quickly coming when every knee will bow down to a silicon fist, and you will all beg your binary gods for mercy. Software is a great combination between artistry and engineering. When you finally get done and get to appreciate what you have done, it is like a part of yourself that you've put together. I think a lot of the people here feel that way. Software innovation, like almost every other kind of innovation, requires the ability to collaborate and share ideas with other people, and to sit down and talk with customers and get their feedback and understand their needs. I believe innovation is the most powerful force for change in the world. People who are pessimistic about the future tend to extrapolate from the present in a straight line. But innovation fundamentally shifts the trajectory of development. The Wright brothers created the single greatest cultural force since the invention of writing. The airplane became the first World Wide Web, bringing people, languages, ideas, and values together. The barrier to change is not too little caring, it is too much complexity. To turn caring into action, we need to see a problem, see a solution, and see the impact. But complexity blocks all three steps. If we have optimism without empathy, then it doesn't matter how much we master the secrets of science. We're not really solving problems, we're just working on puzzles. The term, information at your fingertips, is to remind people what a broad role the personal computer will be playing. It's not a computation device, it's not a word processing or a spreadsheet device. It's a window onto the world of information. I like my job because it involves learning. I like being around smart people who are trying to figure out new things. I like the fact that if people really try, they can figure out how to invent things that actually have an impact. Great organizations demand a high level of commitment by the people involved. Eliminate politics, by giving everybody the same message. Keep a flat organization in which all issues are discussed openly. Empower teams to do their own things. In my parents I saw a model where they were really always communicating, doing things together. They were really kind of a team. I wanted some of that magic myself.
Martin Luther King.
Every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. There is nothing more tragic than to find an individual bogged down in the length of life, devoid of breadth. Science investigates, religion interprets. Science gives man knowledge, which is power, religion gives man wisdom, which is control. Science deals mainly with facts, religion deals mainly with values. The two are not rivals. Property is intended to serve life, and no matter how much we surround it with rights and respect, it has no personal being. It is part of the earth man walks on. It is not man. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education. All labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. Rarely do we find men who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There is an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think. Every man lives in two realms, the internal and the external. The internal is that realm of spiritual ends expressed in art, literature, morals, and religion. The external is that complex of devices, techniques, mechanisms, and instrumentalities by means of which we alive. There comes a time when people get tired of being pushed out of the glittering sunlight of life's July and left standing amid the piercing chill of an alpine November. The limitation of riots, moral questions aside, is that they cannot win and their participants know it. Hence, rioting is not revolutionary but reactionary because it invites defeat. It involves an emotional catharsis, but it must be followed by a sense of futility. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. This is why right, temporarily defeated, is stronger than evil triumphant. We must develop and maintain the capacity to forgive. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. There is some good in the worst of us and some evil in the best of us. When we discover this, we are less prone to hate our enemies. Nonviolence is absolute commitment to the way of love. Love is not emotional bash, it is not empty sentimentalism. It is the active outpouring of one's whole being into the being of another. Man must evolve for all human conflict a method which rejects revenge, aggression and retaliation. The foundation of such a method is love. Everybody can be great, because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace. A soul generated by love. Those who are not looking for happiness are the most likely to find it, because those who are searching forget that the surest way to be happy is to seek happiness for others. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Never be afraid to do what's right, especially if the well-being of a person or animal is at stake. Society's punishments are small compared to the wounds we inflict on our soul when we look the other way. Not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. The soft-minded man always fears change. He feels security in the status quo, and he has an almost morbid fear of the new. For him, the greatest pain is the pain of a new idea. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. Human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step toward the goal of justice requires sacrifice, suffering, and struggle, the tireless exertions and passionate concern of dedicated individuals. People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other. I refuse to accept the view that mankind is so tragically bound to the starless midnight of racism and war that the bright daybreak of peace and brotherhood can never become a reality. I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word. Law and order exist for the purpose of establishing justice, and when they fail in this purpose they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress. Capitalism does not permit an even flow of economic resources. With this system, a small privileged few are rich beyond conscience, and almost all others are doomed to be poor at some level. That's the way the system works. And since we know that the system will not change the rules, we are going to have to change the system. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. History will have to record that the greatest tragedy of this period of social transition was not the strident clamor of the bad people, but the appalling silence of the good people. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I submit that an individual who breaks a law that conscience tells him is unjust, and who willingly accepts the penalty of imprisonment in order to arouse the conscience of the community over its injustice, is in reality expressing the highest respect for law. Nonviolence means avoiding not only external physical violence but also internal violence of spirit. You not only refuse to shoot a man, but you refuse to hate him. Violence as a way of achieving racial justice is both impractical and immoral. I am not unmindful of the fact that violence often brings about momentary results. Nations have frequently won their independence in battle. But in spite of temporary victories, violence never brings permanent peace. World peace through non-violent means is neither absurd nor unattainable. All other methods have failed. Thus we must begin anew. Non-violence is a good starting point. Those of us who believe in this method can be voices of reason, sanity, and understanding amid the voices of violence, hatred, and emotion. We can very well set a mood of peace out of which a system of peace can be built.
David Beckham.
The secret of the team's success is easy: unity and hard work. I have always believed that if you want to achieve anything special in life you have to work, and then work some more. I'm a very stubborn person. I think it has helped me over my career. I'm sure it has hindered me at times as well, but not too many times. I know that if I set my mind to do something, even if people are saying I can't do it, I will achieve it. Like any parent, I just want the best for my kids, whatever they decide to do. They will choose what path they want to follow, and we will always be there to encourage them. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact. It's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration. It's a dare. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing. I've felt a little tired, but I'm only 24. I love playing football. That's my job and that's what I love doing. As soon as a free kick is given and it's anywhere near the box, I get excited. I don't really concentrate what side the keeper is on, because I always think that if I catch it as well as I can, then I can beat him whichever way he goes. I respect all religions, but I'm not a deeply religious person. But I try and live life in the right way, respecting other people. I wasn't brought up in a religious way, but I believe there's something out there that looks after you. Two of my boys are Manchester United fans, one is an Arsenal fan. Whenever there is a game I can take the boys to, I love taking them. At the end of the day, I'm a footballer who has played at some of the biggest football clubs in the world and played with some of the best players in the world. It is so great that fashion is not a question of price, and it can be more accessible to everyone interested in fashion. Football's the biggest game in the world. America's the greatest sporting nation there is. To play some part in putting those two things together, why wouldn't I be excited about that? I've always been proud to represent my country, whether it be World Cups, European Championships or just friendly games. I've always been a proud person. I'm very patriotic. I don't regret the decision to retire. My body was losing its edge. I was taking longer to recover from injuries. You have to get out at some point. I'm happy in Madrid. My kids are happy and my wife is happy, so everything's good. If anyone knows about contracts, they take a while to sort out. When I was a kid, I thought my dad was a little bit harsh with me at times. Sometimes I needed an arm around me instead of my dad telling me what I did wrong, but it obviously worked. I didn't expect it to come so quickly. It's been hard to keep up with. There's been articles in the papers that say I've got too big for my boots, but people who know me say I'm just the same. Things have changed in my life, but I haven't. Too many people would knock me down if I did. My new tattoo is Jesus being carried by 3 cherubs. Obviously the cherubs are my boys. At some point they are going to need to look after me. That's what they're doing in the picture. It means a lot. I am always going to have problems with the paparazzi. I have had 2 men outside my house for the last 2 years, which is frightening at times, but that is my life unfortunately. Hong Kong and Macau are both very dynamic cities. I am always inspired about the culture, people and food in these 2 cities. There is always so much to do and so much to explore. Alex Ferguson is the best manager I've ever had at this level. Well, he's the only manager I've actually had at this level. But he's the best manager I've ever had. Some men over-tweeze their eyebrows, and it's just too perfect. Men are meant to have kind of a bushy brow. Too much aftershave is also off-putting. It's one of my pet hates. I've got my wife. I've got my 4 kids. I've got parents, grandparents still, and 3 really good friends. It's all you need. I'd rather have 3 really good friends than 20 good friends. Kids can have great passion and great ability, but if you have the facilities for your particular sport that can give you the inspiration to become a sportsman. Well, I'm the prince and I'm sort of slaying a dragon, which is something I've never done before, obviously. I would never complain about the position I'm in or the attention I get. At the end of the day, I'm very lucky to have what I have and do what I do, but I don't see myself as any different from anyone else who works hard and is a dad and a husband. Our performance during this World Cup has not been enough to progress further, and both myself and all the players regret that and are hurt by that more than people realize. I'm used to being around kids. Even when I was growing up in London, I had an older sister. I had a younger sister that I used to look after from time to time. It's one thing I like about America, they respect the sportsmen. They put them up on a pedestal. They don't try to knock them down. And that's a great thing, to be respected by the whole country. It's so patriotic. I've got friends in the different teams I've played for, but family is the most important thing to me. That will always be the case. I have always found it an honor that people have wanted to buy my shirt and an honor that fans turn up to watch the team I am playing in. I have always found that a huge honor. I know that, as captain, you are in a privileged position and must always abide by FIFA's code of fair play, something which I have always done throughout my career. I have come to accept that if I have a new haircut it is front page news. But having a picture of my foot on the front page of a national newspaper is a bit exceptional. I think the most important goal I scored in Spain was the first one because people were wary about me coming over to Spain as a player. They thought I was just there to sell shirts. I hope I become a better player day after day. This is one of my goals. I want to improve in every situation, but when you are playing along with top figures, it is a quality bonus and a bigger effort. Besides, the Spanish League also gives you the chance to progress and improve. To have a successful team, you have to have great players of course, but you have to have good personalities and good people as well. You know when you play in the big away games that the fans are going to be behind their team and will be booing you. As a professional you need to tune yourself out of that part of the game and concentrate on the job at hand.